Okay, we're back with the Volkswagen engine and project I'm working on. It's highly possible that my grandchildren will never know the wonderfulness of Craftsman tools, USA-made Craftsman tools, I should say, and opening a brand new package of screwdrivers and smelling the loveliness of them. USA made. Very rare to find Craftsman stuff that's USA made. I think there's only a few things that are made by Craftsman that are. I'm going to open up this new set of screwdrivers, and that was just I remember things like Christmas morning and opening up your new toolbox and that smell, and yeah, it's nice. So I literally stole these, not literally, figuratively. Ace Hardware had them on sale. They're normally $14.99 for a package, or $15.99 for a package, so $16 for the screwdrivers each one. But they had them on sale for $5.99 for Christmas, and then if you had an Ace Rewards card, you could also take an additional $3 off those. So I got them for $2.99 a package, $3 a piece. USA made screwdrivers. Beautiful. What a wonderful thing. Okay, much to do here. While I have the engine back in, what do you mean you have your engine back in? Well, I'm going to take it back out. Why? Because I can. I love working on these right here, these carts. Let me tell you about these carts. This cart here, well, I'll tell you about it later when I get it out. I'm going to put this boot while I have the engine in place. I'm going to put that boot on that side, and that way my wife can jump up and down on this and move that axle up and down enough where I can get the boot up underneath it with the 200-pound weight of the engine on there. So let's get after that. Okay, I got my boot on. There's a couple of small gaps there, so I put some red sealant on both sides, and then I filled the Caitlin Jenner up with 90 weight. A couple of things. Oh, I had to take my starter off in order to do that. A couple of things. The gentleman who put this floor pan together thought it would be humorous not to tap the holes there. I found that out when I went to go put my ground strap on my battery, and there was no there no threads there. So yeah, so you got to think about stuff like that. So let's take this engine back out again. But why? Why do you want to take it back out? Well, because I can. Let's see. Make it lighter. Yeah, there you go. Last time I didn't have the blocks up on it, and had some problems. I didn't have blocks underneath the wheels, and so there wasn't enough room essentially, and to slide this underneath there. So I put some 2x4s under the wheels, and one of the reasons why I like working on this instead of well, it's a long story. It's a story of I have to. And the story of I have to starts with a young man wanting to do some work on his 57 Chev, and so the boy named Sue needed a engine stand, and so I let him use my engine stand, and he's in Kansas, I think now, is where he's stationed. If I'm not mistaken. I think that's where he's stationed. So that's where my engine stand is. The other engine stand is my welding tables. I had two of them. But anyways, if you use one of these little carts, you can get right up underneath it, and you can even do it with the car. That'll end up on the ground. You can even do it with the car on ramps. So you take your car and you put it up on ramps. Too high, I think. Should come sliding right out of there. Still too high? Needs to come up some. I keep saying it's easy. It really is. Using one of these carts. Apparently you're making me eat my words. Oh, I had it slid up there too far. I get it. I had this thing all slid up there underneath there, and it was on the... But, you know, you can work on the engine, put it all together, and then lower it down and slide it in there. It's a little bit easier if you do it the right way. Anyways, so I might have to do a little tilt too. We put a little something on underneath the exhaust to kind of give it a little tilt. Probably help some. But I'll get it figured out. But I really like working on this because this table gives you a place to put your tools as well as the engine. And you're not having to bend over to do things. That's the benefit right there. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, the valve train off and look at it. And I understand the other side has got the, is the live wire. So this side's not going to oil as much, but I don't think it oiled even enough. So I need to rethink that. I'm going to need to rethink my shroud and my deal for my flaps, because that's going to have to need to be kind of cut out a little bit so it works. Thermostat's got to go on. I'm missing the piece of tin on this side. So, you know, I'm waiting for it. So this heater box is going to come off, and I'm just going to have to wait until this tin comes in before I can put the heater box on and put it back in the car for reals. Well, it'll have to come out again anyways because I have to put a clutch in it, probably, before I put the body on it, if I can afford a clutch and a throwout bearing. You know, I mean, it's peanuts, yeah, I understand, but I'm not doing a lot of work right now, so I'm thinking paying my bills instead of that. Okay, let's tear into it. Okay, I've sorted out my rocker assemblies, and essentially I didn't find anything. So yeah, maybe it's just because it's idling and one side's getting more than the other, but everything seems okay. I'm going to set the valves, and we should be okay. I'm still going to leave those rockers off and make sure everything's oiling. Next thing I'm going to look at is the fan shroud. Today was another wonderful day. It's about 60 degrees out, and well, 60, 55, and then now the bottoms dropped out of it again. It was about 60 this morning, and then the bottoms dropped out of it. It was nice yesterday, and we're supposed to get another Arctic blast come through here, which is pretty strange for February in Oklahoma. Usually it's about 80 degrees by now. But it hasn't been that way. It's been pretty cold. And I wonder what the environmentalists think about that. It's kind of funny. They have these rallies. They have these global. Well, they can't call it. They don't call it global warming anymore. They call it, because they figured out. They know that we know that we know that they know.
I know that you know that I know.
And so they know that we know. So they name it something else. I wonder how they explain that. I feel sorry for people that are gullible enough to swallow all that crap. Because hell, all you got to do is walk outside and take a look, you know. Okay, so we're going to take this off next and figure out the spacing on that and put our fan shroud in there and do some other things. And like I said, I'm waiting a piece of sheet metal that goes underneath here, the little sleigh thing, and I'm waiting for my shift rod, shifter plate that goes out underneath there too, because I want to jack the engine up and test out the transmission, but I can't do that unless I can shift it. So, you know, I'm going to work on this, but I'm probably not going to video any more of it. And I'll just come back, and the miracle of camera, it'll be several days later, but it'll be just a second to you. So, all right, see you in a minute. Okay, I have to show you this. This is the electromagnetic cutoff for the carburetor that I have. I'm going to put power to it, and then I'm going to ground it. Again, I got shocked just then. Nothing. I keep getting shocked from this, like a high tension shock. If I hold the body. If you cycle it a bunch of times, it works. Sometimes. I keep getting a high voltage shock from this and don't know why. I have an idea that the wires in it have become unlaminated and somehow are starting to become a coil of some sort. So I've asked my brother if he'd send me another one, and he's going to send me another one. But you seen where I had to actually physically move this in order to get it to work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If this doesn't work, your engine won't stay running, I can tell you that. So I've got that to look at. And another thing I had to look at is this. This is the coil. This is the original Bosch coil. And if any of you know what this big choke is on the side here, this says, I have to read this, B-E-R-U, Beru, I think it's German, yes, it says made in Germany, and it says 3 microfarad, 110 volt, max 80 something centigrade. I don't know. So this was here on this car, and I was told to remove it because it serves no purpose. I don't know. What's the purpose of it? It was there from the get-go, from the factory. The car ran almost 200,000 miles on that. I know you say go get yourself a blue coil. Yeah, and I probably will when I get the money. This has a jumper, factory jumper, so that the power can go there, and then of course it has a jumper also for the reverse lights, for power to the reverse lights. So tell me, what is this? Is it a radio suppressor? Do I need it? You know, like I said, the car, it's factory with this on there. So, and it's ran for, you know, 170 something thousand miles, for my guesstimation, if not 200 and something thousand miles. So, let me know. Working on my thermostat, and you want to make sure that your linkage is nice and free when you have everything tightened up, and that your rod under here it is going to operate without hanging up. You want to do this with your generator bolted down tight against your generator stand, and that way it puts placement of your fan shroud into the correct position. Since I have that, kind of cleaned up my thermostat, and I've set it up on the kerosene heater, and I'm watching it open right now. I have it in the little holder, and the reason why I have it in the little holder is I don't want it to expand into a point where it you know, it's like this big or something crazy. It'll go to its max amount, as you see. So there you go. Just opened up for you. Couple of things. I got my piece of tin in the mail. It's a big greasy mess, so I'm degreasing it. It's the driver's side piece of tin that goes underneath the push rod tubes. Didn't have that. Abner Dimwit had lost it. I don't get it, you know, but okay. And another thing that he had lost, and I don't get either, is this. In the book it shows this flange, but it does not show this flange. So I'm figuring that the big flange, it says, goes on the right hand side. Write me back and let me know if that's correct. That's what the book shows, but it doesn't show this little flange on there. I know the flanges go up. So I hope that's right, and I'll be able to shift my car and see if the transmission works. So let's get degreasing on this. Let's get a hot pad here. Take the still hot. There she goes. Wave it around a little bit. I don't want to leave it on there because I don't know the parameters of how hot it's supposed to get, or it's not. So let's make sure that that comes back to. Yeah, that's a little warm. Wave it in the air. See what happens. She should start coming back once it gets down to its. I just want to make sure it works. It opened up all the way, and that's it. Yeah, there it goes. Wave it around in the air a little bit. Yeah. So it does work. It doesn't pull that rod very far, an inch or so. That's about it. So that's working properly. Well, we'll get that hooked up. Let's degrease our tin and we'll get that hooked up. A lot of people take these off, and I've only had one other Volkswagen with one, and I didn't know it even had one until my brother told me about it. And he sent me one. And so the problem is, in the colder climates, in all actuality, your Volkswagen will run too cool if you don't have one of these, because it never gets it hot. It never gets the engine hot because it's blowing all the time on the cylinders, and it never gets hot. Just, why don't I have any heat? Why don't I have any heat? Why don't I have any heat? Well, one thing that this does is that, of course, it opens and closes, and when it gets hot enough, it burns all the acids and whatnot out of the oil, and it allows the engine to run warm or hot like they're supposed to. They're efficient when they're hot, but not too hot. You know what I'm talking about. When they reach operating temperatures, this allows it to reach operating temperature. When this is pulled down, the flaps inside here are no longer blowing air, and so you get a lot of air out here, out of this. So you get a lot more air going down to your heat boxes underneath here and into the car when it's cold. If you have this all the way open all the time, it's less air and less heat. And of course, this air has to go all the way through your heater channels in order to get up to your defroster. The system works proper. It works perfect if things are right. And this is one of the things. Okay, if you notice, there's a gap between the top of the thermostat and the little deal that holds it, and it's about 3/4 of an inch. Conveniently, it's a no-brainer on this. It's like you don't even have to think to do it. You just pull this all the way down. It's got a slot in the adjustment that is exactly the same amount as that. So when this gets hot, it opens those up. Also, if you look, your rod has to come through that little metal plate there in your head. And of course, there shouldn't be any binding, and again, no wailing or gnashing of teeth in order to put that in there. It should go together quite well. It's a fantastic little gizmo, and use it, especially people in colder climates, because I swear to you, your Volkswagen, it'll cough and sputter and cough because it never gets warm enough, and it doesn't get warm enough to keep your preheat pipe warm enough, and your mixture going down your carburetor is all sticking to the sides of the intake because it's not evaporating. And incidentally, that's how a choke works if you don't know. When the engine's cold, it requires more fuel because it's not evaporating the fuel because it's sticking to the intake runners. So you have to put more fuel into it in order to get it to burn. And of course, it burns richer and less efficient. But when this is hot, it all emulsifies, or what's the word I'm looking for? It turns to a vapor instead of liquid, and it runs much more efficiently. Anyways, make sure you put your thermostat on. Sun's so hot it froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. It's about 23 out. Really odd for end of February. Must be that global warming. Okay. I got the angle of the dangle right on the engine. I put a piece of plywood underneath it, and it angled it just enough to. It really goes in nice now. Finish this. I've got a couple little things to do. Look at that. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's right up there. Okay, let's bolt it up there, and we'll get her running again. Okay, I've got the engine in there, and I'm working out a couple of little problems. And one little problem is this brake light switch. And I've beat it about the head and shoulders 2 or 3 times. And soaked it down with some brake clean. So let's see what happens. I've rigged one of my lights. I kind of rehabbed one of my lights. It was a mess inside. So let's put the switch back in here. See what happens. If I can get it back in here. Usually your German stuff, switches and such, they don't ever wear out. It's either they get rusty or you know, corroded or something. But generally, you know, if they're not like door switches, like the dome light switches, kind of go bad because they get kind of rusty. But switches like this that are in a closed environment, they usually never go bad. Usually all you have to do is rehab them a little, and you can spray a little brake clean in there and tap them 2 or 3 times to release the contacts. But I don't think the contacts become corroded, they just become sticky, maybe in this case, with a little bit of old 90 weight or something. Let's see how this is going to go back on. Let's see if this works. Yeah, let's see if I can finesse this back on. I'm sorry you can't see. Big head is in the way. There you go. Got those on. Let's see what you guys are looking at. Okay, well that's not bad. There's that, and that's connected. Okay. Now we got power. We should be able to hook it in reverse. We should have a light. Look at that. And this is one of the things that you want to check when your engine's out or your body's off, because it's so easy to fix that little problem instead of crawling around in the muck and the mire trying to pull that out and fix it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to set my timing and then we'll start this thing. I've kind of got a fuel source rigged to it. I'm using a spot tie for a clamp. It's just temporary. This belt I bought, there's the problem. It's too short. I can squeeze it on there with all the washers on one side, but that's not right. So I got to find a belt that's just a tick bigger. Our reverse light is on, as you can see, so it's hooked in reverse. I got it jacked up. I've run it already, and I've put the valve covers on it. Both sides are oiling quite well. I can't run it for very long because I don't have a belt on it. So let's fire it up again and let's look at the gears. Try that again. Switch still doesn't work right. there you go. Couple of things. I want to drain the Mobile One out of it because it's all I had, and just put some Castrol in it, just some mineral oil. Mobile One is mineral oil. I mean, pure synthetic oil is not made out of pixie farts or unicorn dust. It's made out of mineral oil. People think it's made out of something else, and it's not. It's just, it has so many additives in it. They're a super slippery additive, and I just wanted to start it on this because I didn't have anything else. So I'll drain the Mobile One out, and I'll put some Castrol in it to break it in, to run it a little bit, and that way it'll help the rings to seat a little better. So let's have a look at something else before I post this. Since I pretty much finished with my engine and my lower half, now I can start on the body. And what we're going to do is, well, I need to look at the weather and see exactly what's going on. A couple of things I need to do. I need to fix my compressor. My compressor has got a problem. The belt is loose and it slips. So anyways, this is the front of the Shangri-La, and then there's the back part of it. And what I did is I built this for my Venture Scout troop, or I helped. I designed it, and they come over and help, but I did most of the work. Anyways, I shouldn't say that. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this front mount off, and I'm going to put my little pump cart there to hold that up so I can get in and out, because the Shangri-La is 8 foot wide. So I should be able to get you know, 8 foot across here, and it'll be a little tarp kind of structure, and that way I can sandblast and paint and do a lot of stuff like that, and it won't bother my wife because it won't be in the garage and there won't be fumes all in the house. And that's kind of nice. A lot of these people have separate structures to your house. Well, mine's attached to my house, so all the fumes that I make go inside the house, and my wife doesn't like that. So if I make a structure out here, yeah, I can just work out in my backyard. But if I have a structure, the neighbors aren't so bothered because it breaks up some of the noise. It's not so bad. So we'll start working on this next, and a lot of work. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We have a lot of work. It has some rough spots in it, but nothing savage, nothing awful. So the next deal will be our Shangri-La. And again, this was such a great buy. The body is in such good shape. There's no real big rot. There's a couple little sections underneath the underneath the voltage regulator we have to look at, and the back window leaked. And since the back window leaked, there's a hole back there. But you remember, we pulled that piece out of that car, and it's stamped in the same fashion, and we can use that metal for a patch along the top as well. I think I'll have to do. But there you go. All right, this is next. Okay, guys, thanks for wrenching with me. Thanks for subscribing and liking, and love all you VW nuts out there. And they're just fun little cars, neat little cars, and I appreciate you looking at what I'm doing, and thank you for wrenching with me today. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.